The fire didn't burn. It should have. The desert was dry, the bush was fragile. One spark and it should have turned to ash. But instead it glowed, and a voice came from within the flames. Not a whisper, not a dream. A voice that shook the ground beneath a shepherd's feet. Take off sandals, for the place you are standing is holy ground. That shepherd was Moses, and in that moment, everything changed. Long before the fire, there was fear. In the powerful land of Egypt, a cruel decree echoed through the kingdom. Every Hebrew baby boy must die, but one mother refused. She hid her child for as long as she could, until hiding became impossible. So she did something unthinkable. She placed her baby in a basket and set him afloat on the river. The current carried him, not to death, but to destiny. The basket stopped, right where the daughter of Pharaoh was bathing. She heard the baby cry, and instead of turning away, she chose compassion. That child was raised in a palace, fed like a prince, educated like royalty, yet deep inside, he was never truly Egyptian. Years passed. Moses grew strong, wise, powerful, but one day he saw something he could not ignore. An Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. Something snapped inside him. Anger, justice, identity. He struck the Egyptian and killed him. One moment, one decision, and suddenly the prince became a fugitive. He ran from the palace, from power, from everything he had ever known. Moses disappeared into the wilderness. No crown, no title, just silence. Years turned into decades. He became a shepherd, living a quiet life far from greatness. It seemed like his story was over. But sometimes, God waits until the world forgets you, before calling your name. One ordinary days became eternal. A bushy, on fire, yet not consumed, and a voice. I have seen the suffering of my people, and I am sending you. Moses froze. Me, I can't even speak properly. Fear filled him. Doubt crushed him. But the voice didn't change. I will be with you. That was enough. Moses returned, not as a prince, but as a messenger. He stood before Pharaoh, the most powerful man on earth.
Let my people go.
It sounded impossible, and Pharaoh laughed. So the plagues began. Water turned to blood. Darkness covered the land. Locusts devoured everything, each sign louder than the last. Still, Pharaoh refused, until the final night. The people prepared in silence, a night of fear and deliverance, and finally, Pharaoh broke. Gold, thousands moved, men, women, children walking toward freedom. But freedom is never easy, because behind them came the army. They were trapped, mountains on one side, enemies behind, and in front, the same, panic spread like fire.
Why did you bring us here to die?
Moses stood still, not because he had no fear, but because he trusted the one who called him. He raised his staff, and the wind began to move. The sea split in two. Walls of water rose on both sides, and a path appeared where there was none. They walked through on dry ground, and when the enemy followed, the waters returned. Freedom had a purpose. Moses led the people to a mountain. Thunder roared, lightning struck, the earth trembled, and Moses went up. Alone, there he met God again, not in fire this time, but in presence. He received the law, guidance for a nation, a covenant, a promise. But leading people is harder than facing kings. They complained, they doubted, they rebelled again and again, and Moses carried it all, the weight of a nation, the burden of responsibility, the loneliness of leadership. Yet he never abandoned his calling. After years in the wilderness, they reached the edge of the promised land. But Moses would not enter. Instead, he stood on a mountain and saw it from a distance, a land flowing with promise, a dream fulfilled, but not for him to step into. And yet, he didn't fail, because sometimes success is not about where you arrive, but who you become along the way. Moses was not perfect. He doubted, he feared, he made mistakes, but he said yes. And that yes split seas, broke chains, and changed history forever. So the question is, what if the fire is already burning and the voice is already calling? Will you answer like Moses? Thank you for watching.